All right, hey, I'm Brent Frazee. We're out here in nature, out in one of my favorite places, I'll tell you. Normally I'm doing these presentations for the MCPL. I'm at a library in a classroom someplace. But today we're gonna take it on the road. We're gonna take it out here in nature and actually have you along on a trip for what we usually talk about. Today we're going to be talking about the coronavirus and how you can still safely have fun in the outdoors in the midst of these strange times. You know, it's been a weird year. I don't have to tell you that. School programs have been canceled. All kinds of youth sports. No Major League Baseball. No concerts. Everything like that. But we still can go outdoors. We're going to show you some of the things that you can do, some of the things that I've been doing, and get you an idea of how to get outdoors safely. Social distance is pretty nice out here. We're the only boat on this lake right now. I'm on a private lake in Parkville, but there's plenty of other places, plenty of public water where you can go out and pretty much be to yourself and have a great time. So we're going to get going. Follow us along. We're going to go to the first place and we're going to catch some fish, hopefully. One of my favorite baits when I start off in the morning, especially when I'm fishing a rocky area, is what we call a jig and pig. Actually, this is a small jig. It's called a peewee jig, and then with a small plastic trailer that you put on. The nice thing about this bait, it looks like a crawdad. And early in the morning, these fish will be in these rocks and they'll be feeding on these crawdads. So if you work that slowly through these rocks, a lot of times you can catch nice fish. You know, a keeper bass on the first cast is fisherman's bad luck. I've had times when I'll catch one on the first cast and it's a couple hours later till you catch another one. But we're going to work on that. But that was pretty cool. He was right where I thought he would be. These are my pet bass. I had them meet me here at 6 o'clock this morning, and obviously they showed up. I'm paying them a good fee, so I'm glad they showed up and they're doing their deal. You know, with fishing during this coronavirus, biggest thing is a lot of these public areas are really crowded because you know, a lot of people are either working from home and have a lot of spare time, or you know, or some people are out of a job. Biggest thing I would suggest, get out early. I mean, get out real early. Evening is also good, but I always like it this time of the year. I like early because the water's cooler from overnight. Some popular places, public water to try in the Kansas City area are the James A. Reed area, Lake Jacomo, Blue Springs, and Longview Lake. You can fish there are places to fish from the bank. The thing I will tell you there, pick up your trash. There's a lot of these areas, because there's so many people out, there's a lot of trash. The big thing I suggest for public water is go to the websites for the Missouri Department of Conservation. That website is mdc.mo.gov. And they have a complete listing of small bodies of water that are public. If you get to some of these hidden little jewels, some of these little conservation area lakes, or even city lakes, you can have some great fishing, and some of these places you don't run into a lot of crowds. In Kansas, go to their Kansas Wildlife and Parks website. Is KSOutdoors.com. KSOutdoors, one word, .com. And again, there'll be a section that says where to fish, and go through that list and pick out some of these small little lakes. I mean, some of these more remote lakes, and boy, you can have some really good fishing at some of these places, and you won't run into a lot of crowds. So, you know, those are just some tips. I mean, go fishing during this thing. I mean, if there's not a lot of people, you can do a lot of social distancing, and you can still have a great time like we've had today. You know, one of the things I really appreciate about during the coronavirus is getting out on the lake and being able to get away from everything. I mean, it's just, you can totally forget about the worries about all the problems we've got going on in the world. You can get out there and just enjoy nature. It's not only the fish, it's seeing the wildlife out there. Today when we were out, we saw a big flock of Canada geese. Had to get them out of the way so I could make a cast in there, and caught a nice bass right below where they had been only seconds before that. But watching, you know, I've had trips where I've seen bluebirds flying across, all kinds of yellow, beautiful goldfinches and everything like that. So it's the total experience. People who fish know what I'm talking about. There's nothing like watching a sunset or a sunrise on the lake. It's really satisfying, and like I said, I'm especially appreciative of it during these times. I mean, a lot of people are turning to fishing now that the coronavirus has hit. In fact, the other day I was doing a survey of states in Missouri and surrounding states, and everybody's in Missouri, Arkansas, Kansas, and Oklahoma. Their fishing license sales are up dramatically from compared to last year. So obviously people are turning to fishing, and I think that is a fantastic thing. It's a great pastime, and we always need more fishermen out there. Fishing license sales really fund a lot of these fisheries programs for stocking and planting brush and that type of thing. So it really is good when we have fishermen out there. Big thing to remember during this coronavirus, remember your social distancing. Don't stand elbow to elbow on a bank with anybody. Same things that the health people tell us. You know, wash your hands frequently, bring some hand sanitizer. But on a lot of these bigger reservoirs and even these smaller lakes that I was telling you about, you can get off to yourself and have a good quality experience. The big thing I will tell you, if you have any friends who have a farm pond, by all means, fish that farm pond during these, if you're just getting started. It'll give you a little bit of confidence to that you can catch fish, and then you can apply that to when you go out on some of the bigger lakes and bigger reservoirs. Another one of my favorite activities during the coronavirus is getting out and hiking. Today I'm at the Parkville Nature Sanctuary in Parkville, Missouri. It's just a gorgeous little place, kind of a hidden little place. It's tucked right in the middle of civilization. A lot of activity going around, but you get back in here and it's like a different world. And again, for social distancing, it's ideal because you can get out here on a weekday and you can really get off to yourself and just enjoy nature, and without having to travel down to the Ozarks or anything like that. For people in the suburban area, it's perfect. All right, hey, this is one of my favorite spots in the nature sanctuary waterfall. When we get some rain, the waterfall really puts out a lot of water, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful area. You feel like there's someplace in the Ozarks or something. I just love to go hiking. It's especially when it's close to home. Just so soothing. I mean, you get out in nature and you get away from people, and it's a fantastic activity during the coronavirus when there are some restrictions about going to ball games and things like that. You can get out in nature and you just feel far away from the hustle and bustle of city life. We're here at the Parkville Nature Sanctuary, my favorite place in the world, but there are other hiking opportunities close to you. One of my favorites is the Burr Oak Woods Nature Center and Nature Area in Blue Springs. It has some rocky outcroppings that look like you're in the middle of the Ozarks, and really not strenuous hiking at all. I mean, it's the type of thing you can do in a half an hour or so and still get away from it all. Some other favorites, the Martha Lafitte Nature Area in Liberty has a nice trail system and some beautiful scenery. And then Smithville Lake, which is just a half an hour north of Kansas City, has some real nice trails and places to just get out in nature and enjoy yourself. Again, the best thing is go early in the morning, go on a weekday when there aren't the crowds. I mean, some of these areas, you're not exactly discovering something. They're very popular on weekends, but if you go early in the day on a weekday, you can have a nature experience. You can be off to yourself somewhat, just enjoy nature. Okay, we're back out here at the Parkville Nature Sanctuary, and today, instead of hiking, we're gonna be doing some bird watching and wildlife watching. Great place for it. Just a variety of songbirds out here. Some beautiful, beautiful songbirds out here, and some nice wildlife. If you're lucky, you can see some deer. You can see wild turkeys, groundhogs, you name it. Just a great thing to do during the coronavirus when you're kind of limited in group activities that you could go to, but you can sure get out in nature and still enjoy the fresh air and the solitude of nature like we are here. We got birds calling all over the place around us. Just a peaceful, peaceful place to be. Another great place for bird watching in the Kansas City area is the Burr Oak Woods Nature Sanctuary in Blue Springs. They have a bunch of feeders that they've set up, and you can watch the feeders from inside. Feeders are right close up to the glass, so you can relax in some air conditioning and still enjoy nature. I've seen everything from hummingbirds to woodpeckers to even wild turkeys will come in and feed on the feeders there. So fascinating place to visit. You might want to do that. Again, there's a lot of things you can do in nature during the coronavirus, so get out there and enjoy the outdoors. But you don't have to be out on a wildlife area or a managed area. The great thing about birding is that you can do it right in your backyard. During this coronavirus, my wife and I have obviously spent a lot of time at home, and we put out a lot of feeders in the backyard, and we have really seen some really neat birds. Earlier in the spring, we were following the Baltimore Orioles were coming into our feeders where we have some grape jelly out there, special bird jelly that doesn't have too much sugar in it. And we've had a hummingbird feeder up, and we've had a lot of hummingbirds coming in, and had a finch feeder also, so get to see some real beautiful, stunning yellow birds. So really fun, really relaxing way to to enjoy your time at home. Instead of watching TV, come out on the back deck and just watch your feeders and enjoy nature right in your backyard. Another great activity for social distancing is getting out in some remote area in the Ozarks and on a float stream, either canoeing or kayaking or going in a john boat when you're fishing for smallmouth bass. That's my idea of heaven. I just love getting out on some of those beautiful Ozarks float streams. Closest one to us in Kansas City would be the Niangua, but the Gasconade is not that far away, and some other real beautiful streams like the 11 Point and the Current, uh, just especially during the week. Weekends, they can get crowded, but during the week, you can get out in some of these areas and you just feel like you're the only person on the stream, and sometimes you are. Um, I like to start off early in the day, so a little bit cooler. And if you're fishing for smallmouth, water's a little cooler early in the day, and you don't have the onslaught of a lot of different canoers or kayakers. So again, just a great way to socially distance and still enjoy the great outdoors. One of the most beautiful float streams in our region is the Buffalo National River in northern Arkansas. Uh, it is it's like a nature wonderland. It's just so many bluffs and such a beautiful stream, such a beautiful paddling stream, and campgrounds and backcountry camping available. It's just a gorgeous area. It was closed. The park was closed early in the COVID pandemic because of wanting to enforce social distancing and that type of thing. But hiking, floating, and camping activities reopened on May 29th. So shower facilities and public buildings are still closed, I believe, but you can get on the river and you can get out and just enjoy this gorgeous scenery. There's nothing like the Buffalo River. It's a national river. It's a national park actually. So this beauty was preserved. At one time there was a battle over damming up part of the stream to reservoirs to build reservoirs, but people thought that the floaters and the people who knew the river best were so impressed with the buffalo that they fought it, and it is now preserved in a national park. So thank God it is, because it is a gorgeous area. And again, weekdays. Weekends can get hectic, but weekdays, even during the summer, especially if you get out early, you can have some gorgeous scenery all to yourself. Another great place to spend some alone time is in the Ozarks. I call it day tripping down in current river country. Some people would say, how can you social distance down there? Well, on weekends you can't. There's a lot of people on the current river, and because it's such a beautiful area. But during the week, even in the summertime, you can find some peace and solitude, and there's just some gorgeous areas down there. I love the Eminence area. Alley Spring Mill is just a beautiful place, one of the most photoed places in the state of Missouri. The old Red Mill has a lot of history to it. It used to be a grist mill, used to be a very popular place, but over time, it faded away, but they've brought it back, and now it's part of the national park system. It's been preserved, and people, a lot of people go there just for the solitude. It's a gorgeous place. Echo Bluff, which is close to Eminence, and at Echo Bluff State Park has some real beautiful lodging, but you can also go and just camp out there and stay in yurts and everything else at the state park. And right out the back door is Echo Bluff, this gorgeous area. I love to go down there and just take photos. It's so picturesque and beautiful right on the stream. It's a beautiful area. A lot of springs in that area too that you can just do a day trip just exploring some of the great out of the way places. You can visit all kinds of like Blue Spring and some of those, and you can just take some hikes and get back off the beaten track and enjoy nature. Another one of my favorite areas is shown here is the Niangua River. Um, Gorgeous area, not too far from Bennett Springs State Park, which gets crowds, but the Niangua River, there are sections where you can get off the beaten track and just find some beautiful wilderness areas. I love to camp in that area and also float the river. Real good smallmouth fishing in there, and in parts of the river, there's good rainbow trout fishing too. So some of these areas, even Lake of the Ozarks, on a weekday again, you can take some day trips and get to some areas by vehicle that aren't too strenuous to hike back into some of the areas and really enjoy some beautiful nature. And again, get off to yourself. In the eastern Ozarks, there are some absolutely gorgeous areas too. And again, great places for road trips. I mean, you don't have to do anything very extensive. You can center in one area, like you can base in like Rolla and take little road trips to some of these areas. Johnson Shut-In State Park is just a gorgeous area. I mean, has this water from the Black River rushing through these like a maze of boulders, and you can actually swim in the stream in these little shut-in areas, little pools in between all the boulders and everything. Also in that area, Tom Sauk Mountain State Park. Tom Sauk Mountain is the tallest elevation in the state of Missouri. It can't match up what Colorado has or things like that, but still, you get up to the top of the mountain, you have some beautiful vistas. And it's kind of rugged hiking, but it's still beautiful. And believe me, you're not going to see a lot of people at that place. Just one other place I'll mention in that same area, Elephant Rocks State Park. And that goes without saying, Elephant Rocks, these huge rock formations, and really is quite interesting. Has some hiking trails in there and some places to take a road trip and just get away from everything. That's what we're talking about. Getting outside and just enjoying nature during this coronavirus.